news as war escalates in the Middle East. 6 American troops have been killed. The U.S. and Israel launching attacks on Iran, whose supreme leader is dead. Iran now striking its neighbors. President Trump saying the mission could last up to a month or more and warns the big wave is yet to come.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people.
Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult.
We have team coverage at 5. The war so far claiming the lives of 6 American troops and also killing Iran's supreme leader. And there are no signs of the battle ending anytime soon as the world watches to see what happens next. Good afternoon. I'm Karen Edwards. Matt is off. At least 18 U.S. troops have been seriously wounded. And as we mentioned, 6 others have been killed. And now as the war widens, attacks are intensifying across the Middle East. Skies littered with missiles and fiery interceptions. 3 U.S. fighter jets were shot down in a suspected friendly fire incident at the hands of Kuwait. All 6 crew members safely ejected as the planes fell from the sky and are in stable condition. Meanwhile, the economic ripple effects of the war are expected to hit soon. Experts say gas prices could surge by 5 to 10 cents a day as the fighting drives up the price of oil. The war also prompting protests, including a demonstration getting underway at this hour outside the federal courthouse in downtown Rochester. President Trump unveiling his plan to ensure Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. We begin our team coverage with Atra El-Nashar.
Monday, Americans hearing from a commander-in-chief bracing for a long fight.
Whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that.
As much of America is anxious about another prolonged war in the Middle East, President Trump explains his objectives.
First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities. Second, we're annihilating their navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon.
And he says, end Iranian support for outside terrorist proxies. The president suggests U.S. operations may not be limited to naval and air forces. Trump tells the New York Post, I don't have the yips with respect to boots on the ground. Like every president says, there will be no boots on the ground. I don't say it. In these first days of war, the Trump administration working to control the message behind what it's about and why they believe force is justified.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change. Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions.
Iran has a message of their own as they launch counterattacks. The country's top national security official, Ali Larijani, says Iran, unlike the United States, has prepared itself for a long war. Iranian strikes aimed at Israel and U.S. military bases across the Middle East. Civilian buildings and infrastructure have also been targeted or hit, like this airport in Dubai and these explosions over the skies of Doha. The Pentagon confirms more U.S. military personnel and fighter jets are deploying to the Middle East and says Central Command is actively assessing its needs. At the White House, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
As the conflict deepens, a local Marine who survived the Iranian bombings of the American barracks in Beirut more than 40 years ago is closely watching what unfolds. 13 Wham's Christian Garzone continues our team coverage live in downtown Rochester, where there's also a protest underway, Christian.
Yeah, Karen, you can see it forming up here behind me. Now, Marine Mike Zawacki says the global war on terror actually began back in 1983 with Iran and its proxies attacking areas in the Middle East. He sees this escalation as a way to end that war. Congressman Joe Morelli, though, fears this conflict has the potential to only get worse. Marine Mike Zawacki of Webster says when Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants attacked the American embassy in Beirut in April of 1983, his unit deployed to Lebanon as peacekeepers.
And then Sunday, October 23rd, 1983, Hezbollah drove a truck bomb into the Marine barracks at 6:22 a.m.
The bomb, some 12,000 pounds. On detonation, it took the 4-story barracks and blew it feet in the air.
And then it came down and pancaked with our Marines, sailors, and soldiers in it, killing 220 Marines, 18 sailors, and 3 soldiers.
Zawacki survived. The flashbacks have taken him decades to learn to live with.
When pieces of those Marines land on your body and on your uniform, those images just never go away.
The U.S. strikes in Iran 43 years later.
It's been more than a long time coming.
Congressman Joe Morelli says while the regime in Tehran is fanatical, murderous, and oppressive, it does not excuse the Trump administration from starting a war.
It is very clear in the Constitution that the power to declare war is in the hands of the Congress.
Morelli backing a war powers resolution to limit the president's ability to take further action in Iran. He asked what country could be next to try and topple.
If we're going to do this, we're just going to start attacking people. It's going to lead to cataclysmic results and disaster for the American people.
Zawacki sees this as Trump eventually achieving what others have tried and failed to do.
We're finishing the global war on terrorism. And I believe in our lifetime, we're going to see real peace in the Middle East.
Now, lawmakers will likely hold a vote this week to restrain President Trump's power, which would require House approval before the president orders any more military action in Iran. Live in Rochester, Christian Garzone, 13 Wham. Right back to you in the studio.
Christian, thank you. And as the conflict intensifies overseas, authorities are keeping an extra eye out on religious, cultural, and political sites here in the U.S. State police are heightening their presence when necessary. This includes increased patrols around religious and cultural sites out of precaution. Police urging everyone, if you see something, say something. Be sure to stay with 13 Wham for round-the-clock coverage of the war in the Middle East. You can also find the latest updates on 13wham.com.